When we're working with clients, one of the things that we won't remind them is they do have the ability to finance college. So
Mhm.
when we are setting priorities to goals, we can incorporate in, we use a process called a pre-approval college savings plan, right? So when we're walking you through that process, it's kind of, when you think about your mortgage, when you go to apply for a mortgage, you have to get pre-approval for that mortgage, right? So now fast forward to investing in one of the biggest other expenses you're ever going to have, at least other than retirement maybe, but like physical expenses is your kid's education. So let's determine the pre-approved amount that we want to
Mhm.
come up with for your kid's education. When we're doing that, a piece of it is the lending opportunities that are available, the tax credits that are available, the savings vehicles that are going to be available. Are your parents or their grandparents going to be contributing? Are there going to be benefits through like veterans benefits? What are all of the resources that are going to be available? And let's map out then how much you should be saving. Now, one of the questions was, is it better to open a separate account for each child? That we often recommend that. And the reason I sort of hesitated and didn't directly answer it initially was because it sort of does depend on the family to us in a certain extent. But as a general rule, we do
Mhm.
recommend opening two separate accounts. The reason being is that your children can go in two very different directions. And when you're mapping this out, we encourage you to include your children in on the conversation, because when you're mapping this out, when we do the pre-approval plan for you, especially as your children get older and closer to seeing what the real numbers are, we can actually show them like what amounts they have in their 529 accounts. Kate knows that I have a slew of nieces and nephews, and they get everything they need from their parents. They really don't need all that much. So when they were babies, I started putting money in each of their 529 plans. And I would give them this little, envelope with the information in it. And they'd sort of look at me like, you're the weirdest aunt, but you give me this piece of paper, it's got some numbers on it, and you take me out to lunch for my birthday. But okay, it seems fun. But now one of my nephews is seriously considering college, and he's
Mhm.
opening up that 529 statement and saying, okay, I have this much from Aunt Amy, what do I need to do differently? Well, whether it's the aunt or whether it's the parent, it still can engage the child in the conversation. And they have a job to potentially look for scholarships to help offset some of the costs that we didn't expect in college.